Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to try and figure this out. Hold on a second. Alright, got my camera flipped. Hi! Is this working, hopefully? Okay, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you can watch this with me, or I can do it for you. Okay, I have to get this out there first. I am not super great on camera, so this will probably be really embarrassing for me, but I just am excited to come and show you today some of my favorite books. Disclaimer, these are not my top 10 favorite books of all time. I have probably several hundred books that I love, but these are just the ones I've kind of read recently, so I wanted to share those with you. I had a request to share some of my favorite books, and so I'm excited to show you these and then show you what's up on my current reading list right now. I am a reader. I love to read. It's one of my hobbies I've had ever since I was little. You probably never saw me without a book in my hand, and I'm still the same. So let's get started. I'll try and keep this super short, super quick. Feel free to comment if you're here so I can see that you're on. This book, I love this book. This is called Shelter for the Spirit, Create Your Own Haven in a Hectic World by Victoria Moran. I picked this up a few months ago, and it really drew me in because it was creating this shelter, this haven in our hectic world. And that's kind of a goal of mine for my home, is to create a special place and a safe refuge for my family to live in. And this book really was amazing, of creating your own home. What I loved about it is create your own haven. This book is not just follow this to create a great home. It helps you find your style of decorating, simplifying, organizing, cooking, cleaning, making your home feel comfortable for your family. It's really great. And I mean, there's sections in here about just about everything for your home. I took lots of notes in this book, and I love the section on celebrating. There's a lot of bringing celebration into your home, teaching values. It's a great book. So this one I'd recommend. By the way, I will put all the links to these books somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I'm going to post this video on my blog, and then in that blog post I'll put links to Amazon where you can get these books on your Kindle or in the physical form. Let's see. Alright, here's another one, 10 Mindful Minutes. I have a really good friend who sent me this book, and it doesn't look like much on the outset, but it really is amazing. I love this subtitle, Giving Our Children and Ourselves the Social and Emotional Skills to Reduce Stress and Anxiety for Healthier, Happier Lives. It's by Goldie Hawn. This book really opened my eyes. I think we deal with a lot of emotions in our life, anger, frustration, and our kids deal with that a lot. And it's really useful to teach them tools how to manage those emotions healthy so that they're not exploding or getting depressed. There's a lot of different bad emotions that if they fester in us, they can cause some problems. This teaches you how to help your kids. So I have this list. What I did is in the back of this, I made a big list of all the practices and exercises it gave, like mindful breathing, mindful listening, mindful seeing, mindful smelling, tasting, optimism, gratitude. There's a bunch. And she has really hands-on practical ways you can teach your kids these things. And I've done it with my kids, and I didn't know if it would work, and it really does. And I love another thing about this book is she teaches you a really great analogy for your brain to teach kids. So your prefrontal cortex is the wise old owl, and the amygdala is the guard dog, and that's kind of your fight or flight. And so what I really love, hi Nicole, thanks for joining me. So what I really loved about that is I've taught my kids that, and so every time they get really mad or angry, I'm like, oh, your guard dog's out. We need to go get your guard dog back in its cage. So then we can go do some mindful breathing, and this is a really great hands-on book to teach your kids some useful strategies. So, love that one. This one's got a glare on it. Oh, okay, I'll hold it like this. The Child Whisperer by Tuttle. This book I picked up last year. It's made probably one of the biggest differences in my parenting. I was kind of stumped before I found this book with my second son. I love him so much, but I could not really figure out what he was thinking and how his personality, how it worked in this world. And I was trying to figure him out and how to show him I loved him and discipline him correctly so that he felt honored for being him. And when I found this book, it tells you there's 4 different types of personalities in children and adults, and you can see which ones your kids are just by looking through their personality traits, kind of their motives in life, even some of their facial features. And she goes through and teaches you how to do this and how to not only find out what your children are, but then what to do about it once you find out what they are. So my children are different types, and I parent them differently because of that, and I love to connect them in different ways. So this book has really helped me connect with my oldest son, who I had a hard time. We were very different in our likes, but now we can connect really easily, and help me discipline my second son better. It's just a great book of honoring your kids and finding out who they are and helping them become the best selves that they can be. All right. The same friend who sent me 10 Mindful Minutes, she recommended this book to me. It's by McKeown, and it's called Essentialism. And this is a different one. I usually read a lot of mom books and Christian inspirational books. This one is kind of a business model, but you can so apply it to anything you're doing, whether it's your job or your stay-at-home mom or your work-at-home mom. It doesn't matter what you are, this book will apply to you. And if you can see on the cover of this one, he kind of helps you take your life from this to this. So instead of doing like a million different things sort of good, he helps you kind of figure out how to do just a few things that are really essential and important to you really well. So your brain goes from that to this. And this was really eye-opening to me. I read this on the way to the Grand Canyon this spring. I loved it. This changed my life. There was one chapter about escaping and kind of having solitude in your life. And at that point, I really didn't think I was going to be able to do that. My kids were older, so nap time was kind of non-existent. And I thought, man, I will never have any more time to myself. They're always awake. But this book helped me find that everybody needs some time to themselves to take a break. So instead of doing nap time, now we do rest time. And my kids will go and read some books by themselves, or they'll draw or color, take some toys into play. Sometimes they take a nap. I let them do whatever they want, but for 1 hour, we all kind of separate and go our separate ways during the summer, and that helps me kind of rejuvenate myself, so I'm ready for the afternoon and making dinner and connecting with my children and husband and family again. But that was just one little section. This book is really amazing. I would highly recommend this if you're feeling kind of frazzled and you want your brain to stop being such a mess and just focus on some really important priorities you have really well. This will help you with that. Oh, P.S. He's a New York Times bestseller, so it's a really good book. This one is by Sarah May and Sally Clarkson. They are both Christian authors, and it's called Desperate: Hope for the Mom Who Needs to Breathe. I really needed this book. I found this book. This just came out when I was going through a period of postpartum depression and after my third child, and this really, really gave me a breath of fresh air. I loved it. The fun thing about it is Sarah May is kind of a young mom with young kids. Sally Clarkson is an more experienced mother. Her children are all grown up, and they each give their takes on different things, and they write back and forth, and they each write different chapters about living your dream life and how to, the art of life, just really how to enjoy your life as a mom. This is amazing. This found me at just the right time. I love the part they talk about like building a family culture and doing things that are special to you with your children. There's some amazing ideas and tips. This book is filled with notes and underlines because I really liked this one. Okay, this is called The Water Secret. This is one of the first nonfiction books. Okay, I also forgot to say, these are my top 10 nonfiction books recently. I've also read some great fiction books, so maybe I can do another Periscope on my fiction books that I like, and you can look those up. But today we're just doing nonfiction. This one is more of a health book. It teaches you how to kind of take control of your health. The Cellular Breakthrough to Look and Feel 10 Years Younger. It's by Dr. Howard Murad, MD. He is a really good author. I really enjoyed this book. It kind of changed the way I thought about diet and eating and health in general. Emotional, mental, physical health, everything kind of combined. And I'm sorry about the glare on these books, but as you can see by this picture, a lot of it is talking about diet and how to get your cells kind of plumped up with water and keep them looking full and young by eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. But there are so many tips and ideas in here that will kind of transform the way you approach health, and it's very kind of, I don't know, it approaches the whole thing. So love this one for health. I'm going to start with this one. This is the first one I read by Maezen Miller. It's called Paradise in Plain Sight, Lessons from a Zen Garden. I picked this up also this year. I really can't tell you how much I like this book. It's very poetic, and she's a writer that kind of draws you in through her experiences, and she tells you her stories, and as you read about her stories, you're instantly able to compare them to your life. And this book is all about, I love the back, come see the garden that is your life. I love this because she helps you see that paradise is right where you are right now. This came in a time where I was kind of feeling discontent with where I was in life and in my home and with different things, and she kind of helped me see, recognize, and notice paradise right here, right now. This book is a really quick read, but it's a very amazing, it will change your perspective. Instead of wanting more and more and more, it helps you simplify and be content with what you've got. And it's very insightful. The same author, Maezen Miller, wrote another one. She has another one I haven't read, but this one's called Hand Wash Cold, Care Instructions for an Ordinary Life. This one, I really liked it. There were some great chapters, but I have to tell you my favorite chapter of all was called Sanitize Option. And that sounds really funny, but it's a parenting chapter, and it's all about knowing that you are just perfect. You are just enough for your children, and that what you're doing is right, and that you are what they need. And I really, really loved the sanitize option, and I marked it up and highlighted it, and every time I'm having a really bad day and I feel like I can't do anything right as a mom and I'll never be good enough and my kids will, never turn out or something, and I have these stresses and anxiety, I pick up this book and I just read that one chapter, and it kind of elevates my mind and realizes it's okay and I can do this. I love it. It really is. That chapter is probably my favorite chapter I've ever read of maybe any of these books. It's a really good chapter. Now on to Emily P. Freeman. Okay, I love her. I think we should be friends, except she lives on the other side of the country. This is a book called A Million Little Ways. Uncover the Art You Were Made to Live. I found this book. This was the first book I read of hers, but it's actually her third book. She has a few that I haven't read, but I really love this one because it helps you see that you are creative and helps you find your passions and how you can show those to the world. Her kind of big take on it is that we all are the poem and the artwork and the creations of God, and that how we live our life brings Him glory if it's, showing Him through our work. So she lets you see that the simplest things, not just the creative things like writing or art, painting, dance, music, those are obviously very creative ways we can express our talents, but she helps you find talents in the mundane things like mothering or being an accountant or a cashier at the grocery store. Whatever you're doing, you can show Heavenly Father's glory through that, and I love this book. This is probably one of my very, very favorite books. This has really helped me lead me to where I am now as a writer, because I love to write, and it helped me realize that what am I waiting for? I've always been a writer. Why should I put that on hold and wait for a better time to do it? I need to do it now and try and share the goodness that I find to those that I've been inspired to, and not be afraid to do that. And anyways, I really recommend this book, especially if you feel like you're kind of in a slump or you don't have anything to offer the world. This one will help you find your passions and how you can make art just by the way you're living. Now, lastly, Emily Freeman came out with another book. Oh, look how pretty that gold is. Simply Tuesday. This is her newest book. I was so privileged to be on her launch team for this book, so I got to read, I don't know where my copy is. It's actually right here. I got the advanced reader's copy before this one came out, and I got to read it before it actually came out. And, but then I just ordered this one. So this is the real book, Simply Tuesday, Small Moment Living in a Fast-Moving World. This is exactly the book I needed right when I needed it. I love it so, so, so much. I'm going to have to show you. I'll put that one here and here. This whole thing is marked up with my notes and highlights. This is one of the best books I've ever read. Emily P. Freeman is such a beautiful writer. Both books, A Million Little Ways, Simple Tuesday, she's so, I love her writing. I wish I could write like her. It's amazing. But what I really loved about this book was helping you find that small is good. I've always been kind of a small and simple person. That's been a motto of mine, and this helped me realize that small is wonderful, simple is wonderful, and Heavenly Father starts things in small ways. Everything in the kingdom of God starts small. The mustard seed, everything is small. Some things grow really big, but not everything gets big. But everything starts small, and that really you can find Christ in every moment of your life and feel his presence and his love. That's what this book teaches you how to do. It's like sitting on a bench. I love the little bench here. When you read this, it'll be like you're sitting down with Emily on a bench and she's just talking to you. It's like a conversation between two good friends. This is so worth your time. Love it. So that's kind of my list. I just went through all the books of my top 10. Now, like I said, they're not my top 10 favorite books of all time. I have so many books that have changed my life, but those are my recent ones. Real quick, let me just show you these few here, just a couple. I will just mention the titles of the ones that are on my current book list so you have some idea of what I'm reading now. This one's called Becoming His. This is by Emily Freeman. It's not Emily P. Freeman, it's Emily Freeman. There are two different Emily Freemans. And I love you, Emily. She is the author of Closer to Christ blog, and she also does Multiply Goodness, and I am a contributor on that blog, so I love Emily. Her book, she's written a bunch of books, and they are all amazing. This is one I'm reading right now called Becoming His, a daily journal toward discipleship. This is an amazing book because it splits up the book into months, and so every month you learn a new thing. Like in the 8th month, which is August, become a true follower. There's a lot of beautiful artwork in this book, and she gives you things to consider, to ponder, how to act on what you're learning, and kind of some journaling, some goals, and you truly throughout the year become Christ. I love this. I want to be a disciple of Christ, and that's kind of been my goal this year, was becoming his. I want to really be his. I want him to be my master, and so this book is really helpful in becoming a true disciple of Christ. And I'm not done with this book, but it is amazing. So that's what I'm reading right now. I'm also reading, I didn't even pull this one out. I'm reading The Fringe Hours by Jessica Turner. That is an amazing book. I'll have to pull that out and share it with you when I'm done. These are a few more that I'm going to be reading. All Rain, No Mud. And this is one I checked out from the library. It just, Simple Secrets for Happiness Even on Rainy Days. It's like a super short book, so I'm like planning on reading this before bed so that I can just, have something to reflect on. This is another one called Longing for Paris. This is by Sarah May. She's the one that was one of the co-authors of Desperate. And this is called One Woman's Search for Joy, Beauty, and Adventure, right where she is. I think this is going to be really fun. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, so I'm super excited for this. It's just the title draws you in, Longing for Paris. I think it looks good. This is one my parents just gave me. It's called More to Your Story. Sorry, glare. Can you see that? By W. Craig Zwick and Jan J. Zwick. I know the Zwicks in person, and I love them so much. Our family got to know them well in Portugal on our mission. And this is about discovering the powerful experiences you're already having. I've actually read the first chapter, and it's hooked me already. I really want to pick it up and read it. It's also kind of a short read, and I really think it's going to be amazing. So, shout out for that one. This is another one that I started and I'm going to finish. It's another one from the library called The Beginning of Better Days, Divine Instruction to Women from the Prophet Joseph Smith, with personal insights from Sherry Dew and Virginia H. Pierce. This one looks really good. It's about the letters to the Relief Society, so I'm super excited to read this one and find out more about the calling of women and our role as mothers. And Pursue the Intentional Life by Jean Fleming. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. That's in Psalms 90:12. I'm excited. This one looks good. Okay, this next one looks super good. This is called Finding Spiritual White Space by Bonnie Gray. Awakening Your Soul to Rest. I follow Bonnie Gray on Instagram, and she is such a delight to follow. She posts really inspirational messages and things about rest and just finding God in the everyday. So I just really want to read this one. I love white. White's my favorite color if you know anything about me. So this Spiritual White Space, this one seems like it was written for me. Lastly, The Greatest Gift, Unwrapping the Full Love Story of Christmas by Ann Voskamp. I came across Ann Voskamp. She was probably my she was the first Christian author I read several years ago, back in like 2000, I don't even remember, 9 I think, or 10, and I read 1,000 Gifts. Great book. But this is the next one. I'm super excited for it because it's about Christmas, and I think she has like an advent calendar that you can even download if you buy the book. I need to go download that. But she has like pictures in here, and they talk about the advent and really filling your heart full of the Christmas story before Christmas. So this is on my book list to read before Christmas. I've wanted to read this for the last 2 years, and I put it off, so I'm not going to do that this year. Definitely going to read that one. So there you have it. Sorry, that's it. That's what I've got for you, my books that I've read and the books that I'm going to be reading. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me. I'll put this video on my blog so you can watch it again. I'll put the links so that you can find these books on Amazon, or you can check them out at your library or get them on your Kindle. I'm just really glad you could join me. I'm sorry I'm kind of a newbie at this Periscope video thing, and I really dislike seeing myself on camera, but I hope you've had fun. One of my sole purposes in doing my blog is to really connect with people. I don't want to just write and just have you read my writing. I want to connect with you and be able to talk and share, have this community, because I'm kind of a heart-to-heart person and I like to get to know people. So if you have any things you want to see on a Periscope, or if you have some questions that you want me to address in a blog post, or if you have any ideas for me, please let me know. And oh, you're sweet, Nicole. Thank you. And I just hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Hopefully I get to do one of these again soon. I have some big plans for Periscope because October is coming up, yay! And it's my annual. Last year I did 31 days to peace. This year I'm going to do 31 days of family traditions, simple family traditions. I'm hoping I can do a few of those on Periscope so you can actually see some of the props and stuff I use for a family tradition. So join me in October, and maybe I will do one even before if I have an idea and get creative. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend, and you're super. Talk to you later. See ya. If I can figure out how to turn it off, right? See you guys.